Good morning, everyone. This is Ryan Hayes with Engage121 for this week's product update webinar. I apologize, my voice is a little stuffy. I've been fighting a cold all week, and I think I am losing the war. At any rate, today we're going to talk about something that's very exciting here at Engage121, and that we think is going to be very beneficial for especially our enterprise clients, but there are a lot of new features that we've been prototyping in this version of the application that we'll be bringing to the CA, the corporate version of Engage121. So a lot of great things that we want to give you a preview of what's coming, but launching today, beginning to roll out today for our enterprise client base is Engage121 version OA3. So this is a new version of the outlet access interface that many of you already have to one extent or another. And the new version looks at managing social media with a whole new outlook, a whole new concept of how to manage it. So to give you some insight into what's coming, what's happening here, I'm going to go ahead and log in as one of our fictitious real estate companies. In this case, I'm Leaf Real Estate in the Norwalk office. So the first thing you notice is that we have a very graphical interface, and there's a lot of things here that we've been prototyping here that we would like to bring to the corporate version of the application sooner rather than later. And beginning with our dashboard here, you'll notice that I have activity. I've got a leaderboard. We're showing how I compare to others within my organization, other outlets, other offices within my organization. But you'll also see badges. So we've created some default badges to kind of give you all an idea. But for those of us, for those of our clients who are enterprise accounts, you can create your own badges to let your outlets strive for. So we've got things like Publisher and PR Maven and all these different types of badges as concepts for you, to show that you're working towards earning that badge. You're on a hot streak. You've earned a number of points towards your badge, and then you have different levels in the badges, so you'll see what level you're at. And then, so that's kind of the dashboard showing how you're performing, and giving you some feedback into what you're doing. Additionally, you'll notice on the right side of the page we have what we call our knowledge base, and we've got we're looking to move our reporting dashboards and things to much more infographic sort of layouts. So where you see, this is all data that you've had in Engage before, your demographic information, age bands and gender groupings. But we're going to look to make things more graphical, including more pictures, all of that to give it a much more intelligent look and feel, more intuitive look and feel. So these are some things that are coming here that have been prototyped for this version that we'll look to bring to the corporate version soon. And one of the things that I mentioned last week was additional demographics for your Twitter followers. So seeing the number of tweets, the average number of tweets per day that your Twitter followers are generating, and the top interests that they have. There's additional metrics here like where they shop, what restaurants they eat at, things like that. And that report is in the works and will be coming to the corporate version of Engage121 in the very near future. So we'll have more information on that soon. It's a much more expansive report. There's a lot of additional information that will be made available for those of you who are using Engage through the corporate application. Other thing I'll point out here is that for your outlet users, we have a tips and tricks section. So we have content that's populated in here. Our team is putting together posts and context-sensitive information to help guide them in their use of the platform. But as a corporate manager, you could control this content on your own if you wanted to be the one to set what the tips and tricks are, or modify the tips and tricks for your organization. We can configure your account to allow that as well. Then moving on to the share portion of the application, this is where we'll have a lot of very cool and interesting parts of the application, starting with hot content. So hot content is our engine, our content engine that looks at all of the content out there that's coming in through various feeds and identifies things that have a high likelihood of going viral, that have a high likelihood of being shared over and over again. So looking at hot content here, we'll see 5 top items that our content engine is recommending we post for the day. So things about Bubba Watson buying Tiger Woods' home. As a real estate agent, that's something that resonates for real estate and is likely to get shared amongst my followers. So I can go ahead and choose to post that. I'll choose to post that to my Facebook page as a rich link and post it to my Twitter account with a link for it, and maybe I'll go ahead and post it to LinkedIn as well. So I can choose all those different platforms and go ahead and I can click Engage, and that will send it out to my platforms right now. Or I can say, you know what, I'm not ready to post that one just yet, but post that around noon today, for example. So we'll go ahead and do this. Put some text in here. And we're going to populate all of this to give them a starting point, but obviously they can make additions to it and make it include whatever text to go along with it that they'd like to. So I don't want to publish it right now. I'll do it at 12:30, for example, this afternoon. So I'll go ahead and select that time, click Engage, and that will be scheduled to be sent out to my platforms. Now, that's dealing with hot content, but you have other content sources as well. So the hot content is coming through that proprietary content generation engine. But then if we want to, and I've got 5 results here, but then as an outlet, I've got content from corporate that maybe I want to post. So I'll look at corporate content, and I can see I've got different libraries that I can select from. You'll see that as I cycle through the different filters, other filters become available. So now I'm going to select the library that I want to look at. I can say, you know, I just want to see the links that are available in that corporate library. And I'll select link, and then I'll get my, my results filtered based on that. Additionally, I can have local RSS feeds fed into here, or I can have industry RSS feeds fed in here. So local RSS feeds are things that we'll begin to set up for you automatically, things like your local patch or your local weather alerts, things like that would be relevant for any outlet to possibly post about. But the outlet themselves, the office, the real estate agent, whoever it is, can post content or can select RSS feeds on their own as well, and we'll walk through how to do that in a little bit too. But looking at industry content here, you'll see that now I can look at all of my my feeds, or I can select a specific feed. So I can say, you know, I just want to see this stuff from Inman. And again, I can filter by media type, and now I can actually search through this by keyword. So if I'm Leaf Real Estate and I want to just search through the Inman feed to see if they've mentioned anything about Leaf Real Estate, I can type in Leaf Real Estate, for example, and run that search. But this is obviously, as a fake company, I'm not going to find anything. But these are different ways that you can filter through and drill down through all of that content that you may have feeding in to find the things that are going to resonate the most with your community. So great things that are in here, and the entire hot content engine is something that we'll be bringing to CA as well, to the corporate application. So a lot of great things here, and the hot content itself is something that can be managed or influenced by corporate. So you have your feeds coming in from hot content, and maybe you want to review that content before it gets delivered to your outlets. You want to take a look at it and say, okay, yes, that's good for them, that's not good for them. Things that you want to have a little more control over what's being sent through. We can deliver you an email every morning with 10 items in it, and you can just pick and choose out of those 10 which 5 you want to have delivered into the hot content feed. So you can have that control, have that review over what things get provided into hot content for your outlets. Additionally, you may say, great, I want the hot content. I want that identification of things that are likely to go viral, but I also want to prompt my users to submit or post things that are coming from us. So can I take 1, maybe 2 of the hot content spots for corporate content? And absolutely you can do that. So we can specify for your account how many of the hot content spots we want to make available for corporate content. If you don't want to use hot content at all, if you really have to be controlled over what messaging is going out, we can give you control over all of them, or we can say we can just give you the top 1. And if you want to manage that, what we'll be putting into your account when you go into account and library is we're going to add a new system library for you that's called hot content. So I can add new content for this. So I'll go ahead to upload hot content, and we'll do a link, and I'll give it a name. And then we'll put in a URL for it. And I'll put a caption for it if I want. And I can set an expiration date for this. So I can say, this is hot content until the 19th. Once the 19th rolls around, pull it out of the hot content feed because I don't want it anymore. So we can put all that together, and those will be fed, those will be managed in your hot content library. So for this account in our development environment here, I've got I have access to 2 of those roles. I can select 2 of the hot content items. So the 2 that are active are the first 2 here that have the boxes around and are highlighted. If, for example, I want to take this one and put that into hot content as well, I can just click and drag that, and that'll replace what's in there. These other items here, you'll see those are expired. They're grayed out. They're still in the library. I can edit them and change the expiration date and make them active again. But I've managed that library. I'm managing what things are being made available. I can schedule a lot of this stuff out. As things expire, the next thing will come on board. As that expires, the next thing will come on board, and so on. So I can pre-populate a lot of hot content items for my outlets. So there's a lot of control that can be made available here in terms of hot content, but we think that content generation engine is doing a great job of identifying things that are very likely to go viral, to build that social community for your outlets. So moving on from hot content, other items that we have in this share section are local PR. So this is putting together press releases. We develop in conjunction with our corporate accounts, and many of you are likely already aware of this. We develop press release templates, so they fill in the information of who it is that's being recognized, or who it is to contact in this release, so on. All of these things are merge fields essentially for the outlet to complete, so they don't have to come up with the entire content of the press release, but it's got all these holes punched into it. So they can put in the information, they can fill in the blanks. It's kind of like, you know, Mad Libs from back when you were a kid, when filling out the information. So we'll fill those in, and then maybe we've got a photo to go along with it. So we'll go ahead and pick our photo, photo of the agent being recognized in this case, and then I'll click Next. But before I do that, I'll point out that, again, all of this information, the analysis, the tips and tricks, this is all context sensitive. So as you move through the application, you're going to see different items. So when I look at my media list, I'm going to see, or when I'm going to fill out a press release, I'm going to see my media list. I'm going to see what those different news outlets are that this would be sent to. I'm going to see what the reach is of those news outlets, what their circulation is. So I'll be prompted. I'll see who I'm going to reach out to. Then I click Next. I can go ahead. I can preview my release. I can see exactly what that's going to look like when it gets sent to the media. And then I can choose to post it to a variety of different channels. I can say I want to send it to my media list, and maybe I want to send it to one of my private lists. And I can manage all of these back in the account section. And then I definitely want to send this to my social platforms. I want to share this news with all of my followers, all of my fans. So we can select all those different platforms. I don't even have to send it to the media if I don't want to. If I want to just post it to my social platforms, I can do that. So if I want to say, you know, I want to put a press release together because it's important and it's professional looking news that I think I want to share with my social contacts, with the people who follow my brand, I can do that by just posting it to my social media platforms. And we're going to show you what the potential reach is for that. We can show you what the reach is for those media outlets. We can show you what the reach is for your Facebook page, for your Twitter account, so you can get a good picture of the how many people you may reach by posting this content out to your different platforms, your various sources. So we'll move on to scheduling that post. I can send it now. Maybe I want to send it later. So if I'm scheduling it for later, I'm going to look at what I have upcoming. So I say, you know, I've got something scheduled for the 21st. Does this support that, or does it conflict with that? Can I send it out with that or around the same time? Is it going to be too much for that day? What have you. I can take a look and see what I have scheduled. Say, oh, you know, I really don't want to send that one on this day. I'm going to send my press release instead. I can go ahead and delete that and schedule a press release for that day instead. However you want to manage that, but you get that quick visual representation of what you have scheduled and when, so that you can identify the best time to be sending something out, so you know that you've got consistent messaging going on throughout the course of the month. So I'm not going to go ahead and send this through. We'll schedule it for later, but the next thing that's going to prompt me for is to promote my release, promote my post. This is going to happen the same as if I were just making a standard post to Facebook. Now, I don't have an ad budget right now, so Facebook is grayed out for me. But I can manage my ad budget back in the account section. So if I want to use Facebook ads, I want to put a budget in place, create a pocketbook that I can draw from for promoting my post to Facebook and increasing my reach. All of that is built in. All of it is native functionality. I can set up my my ad profile for who I want to target with all of my posts, for my ads supporting my posts. All of that can be managed in the account section, and we'll take a quick look at that a little later on. But those things are all being submitted and prompted and recommended to drive that reach, to drive the building of your community. This is very focused on building your community, building the followers of your brand, of your local social media existence, so that once we've built the brand, then we can start looking at marketing to the community, rather. once we built that community, we can start looking at how we monetize that community. But we have to have a community first, and the way we're going to do that is by distributing content that people actually care about, people actually want to look at, things that they're going to share with their friends, and things that are going to go viral. And then the last section here, in this case, I'm logged in as a real estate office. So my last section here is promoting my listings. I can announce an open house. I can post a listing. Those are workflows that are unique to the real estate market. If I was a retail market, for example, or a retail office or a retail location, I would have something that's promoting a sale as an event, or promoting my my new line of WYSIWYGs, whatever you have. All of that can be programmed into the OA3 interface. So whatever your organization is, we would customize that to match with you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to announce an open house, and I want to do it to Facebook. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to post this as a rich link so that all of my followers will see it. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to create an actual Facebook event to go along with this. So I can put in a description for it, put in location information for it, and that'll be actually added to the events tab on my Facebook page. If you're not familiar with events already, this is native Facebook functionality. So if we look down here, one of my tabs here is events. So I'll click on that, and I can see the events that I have scheduled. So I've got an upcoming event for an open house. I've got another upcoming event for another open house. Now, when someone views this, they can choose to join it. They can say, I'm going to go to that event. So they can choose to join it. They'll sign on and say they're going to be there. Say, maybe I'm going to go. I'm not going to go. I can also invite people to it. I can share it. You can share all this information, and it gets that viral aspect to it. So as someone chooses to join it, they share it with their friends, invite them to it. Maybe you're having a barbecue at the office. You're going to create an event about that, and you want to invite everyone to come down to it. Great functionality here for doing that and reaching out and driving more traffic to your events, whatever those events might be. And then I can choose to schedule this to go out through Twitter as well. Again, I'll go through the same scheduling process. I'm going to say that I want to schedule it. I want to send it now, or I want to schedule it for later. I've got those upcoming posts again, so I can keep in mind what it is that I have going on and how I want to do that. And then, again, the last step is going to be to promote that, to create an ad about it, to drive those impressions, to drive those clicks, and really grow your business at rocket speed. Now, the next thing that I want to walk through quickly here is the Engage section. Starting with, again, you're going to see things here like the infographics. Again, it's a philosophy that we want to take from what has been prototyped here in the OA3 environment and take it up to the corporate platform. So things that you see here are what we want to take and translate. So we want to hear your feedback on this. We'd love to hear what you think. Things like what features you've seen today that you'd love to see in CA. What things that could really be helpful for you. So please do let us know, and we'll make sure that we prioritize those things. But as far as starting a conversation, this is really just speak. This is creating a post, writing something from scratch, or selecting something from my library to go along with it. And I've got conversation starters here. So you may know this from CA. You know this as your planner. You have what awareness days and birthdays and things like that are coming up. And I can take a look at additional information about it. If there's an event, if there's a site for that particular event, I can click through to go find it, find more information about it, to give me some ideas on how I write my post. So I can take a look at the birthdays that are coming up, and I can say, okay, you know what, I'm going to wish happy birthday to Eva Longoria. So go ahead and put in her name, and we'll say, you know, happy birthday to. And then maybe I've got a link about it. You know, I have something to go along with that. I'll go ahead and create a link to go along with that. Create it as a bit.ly so we can track all of the clicks and everything that goes along with it. Apologize, I am not very good at typing and talking at the same time. So there we go. So I've put my post together. I'll go ahead and click next and choose which platforms I want to post this to. So again, I've got my Facebook pages, I've got my Twitter pages, I've got my LinkedIn profiles. Select all of that. Again, I'm going to see who am I reaching, how many people am I reaching, and again, schedule it for when I want to reach out to those people. So a lot of that kind of, you can see the consistency in terms of the functionality, but one of the great things that I want to point out for everyone is the join the discussion section. So you may know this as mentions in Listen, or your Listen feed in general, but we've got two different versions of this. We have the mentions filter, and we've got all posts. So mentions is obviously anyone who mentions me on Twitter, comments on my Facebook page, anything like that I'm going to want to respond to because they're actually engaging directly with me. All posts is everyone that I follow, all of that feeding in. Now, I'm sure you've noticed what's going on the right-hand side here, and these are social profiles. So this is something that we certainly want to bring to the corporate application sooner rather than later. And depending upon which connection, which contact I'm looking at, I'm going to see more or less information about them, depending upon what it is we're able to get. So we'll have basic information like their bio and how many people follow them, how many posts they have, where they're located, things like that. But I'm also going to see their clout score. I'm going to see which platforms they're connected on. So I can see all that sort of information. I can get an idea of who it is I'm talking to before I respond or before I jump into the conversation that's going on already. So you can see a lot of great information here that we just we'll continue to build out as we can, but things that we definitely want to bring to the entire Engage121 ecosystem. So something that's really great. We wanted to share this with all of you so you had an idea of new things that were coming up. And as far as engaging with this is all the same sort of functionality that you have in Listen now. So we can retweet it, we can reply to it, we can cross-post it, we can use an auto engagement to reply to it, reply via direct message, any of those different things to respond and join that conversation, join that discussion, or manage your incoming leads, your incoming mentions, what people are talking to you about. So that you can make sure that you stay on top of all of those things. So that's a lot of the actual interface, but how it all gets managed is back in the account section here. You've got things like managing your account information and passwords and permissions, all that sort of stuff. But then you can look at your ad settings. So you can choose which platforms you want to enable ads for, manage your ad profile. Who do you want to send this to? Who do you want to target? What demographics? Anyone or just fans or what have you? Who do you want to market to? And then manage your ad budget. So add funds to your piggy bank for your ad spending. And then you can manage your libraries, so the assets that you would pull when you're creating posts. You manage your connections, manage your content. And this is where you would add those local feeds. And this is something that I said we would come back to it later, and here we are. So when I go to add a feed, I'm going to put in the site name. I'm going to put in the URL for the RSS feed for that site. Now, if I select that this is a local news feed before I submit it, that's something that will feed into my hot content section under local. So this is where your outlets can manage it on their own. We'll pre-populate your outlets accounts with the local patch, local weather updates, things like that. But this is their option, is to add more things into it. Whether it's local sports scores, or other things along those lines. This is where they would be able to manage all that information. And then we can get down to managing their media lists, managing their private lists, the people who they reach out to, that sort of thing. And we always have a persistent access to the planner where they can see a larger view of what they have scheduled, what they have to approve, what's going out, what has to be approved by someone else for this month, see what they did last month, and see what's coming up the following month. So again, great views into that here. And we've added live chat. Just like we have in CA, we can go ahead and start a chat session with the team here for managing outlet accounts to make sure that they always have access to someone who can help guide them through whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish in the application. So a lot of great functionality. We've had great feedback on the chat functionality for the corporate application, and we're sure that it's going to be as successful with our outlet users as well. Some other things that I want to point out, there are additional reporting that can go along with this. Starting with every morning, we're going to send an email to those outlets saying, here is the hot content for the day. So even if they're not logging in and going in here and clicking on hot content, we're going to send them an email that says, here's the hot content for the day. We recommend that you post this now. And so they'll have buttons there where they can post it right from the email. Don't have to go through the interface. Don't have to do any of that to manage it. Just get an email on your mobile phone, on your smartphone every morning. Say, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Post that one. That one's interesting. Post that. And so on. So it's driving, again, that publishing creative content time and time again. We find and study after study shows that obviously creating content, publishing content that's interesting and has the propensity to go viral is what's going to drive that building of your network. So we're going to prompt that as much as possible. There's going to be reporting that corporate can push to their outlets to say, this is what you're doing, this is what we're doing for you, this is how your network is growing, this is what your network is made up of, who your network is made up of, what their demographic information is. Again, to remind them that this is a very important way to reach out to your community and grow your business. And we'll continue we'll send more emails in terms of this is what went out over the last week, this is what's scheduled for next week, a weekender update. So a lot of great things here in terms of prompting additional usage, prompting usage, and not just usage with no guidance, but giving that guidance of these are things that we think will resonate with your audience. These are the things that you should be posting. These are the things that will build that community for you. But there's a lot of great features that we've prototyped here that we think will be very beneficial for all of our clients in terms of bringing a hot content feed to your corporate application, in addition to it being available for your outlets. All of this is coming soon to corporate, launching today for outlets, rolling out through different accounts. So if I'm sure you've already spoken with your client development rep here about doing that, but if not, absolutely do that. Reach out to them, and they'll be happy to help you get set up and get a rollout plan in place. At any rate, there was a lot to talk about today in OA3. There's a lot that's there, and I know we've run over our time a little bit, so I'm going to draw this to a close. I want to thank everyone for joining us. If you have questions about what you saw today or additional things that you'd like to see us cover in future webinars, please do let us know, and we'd love to hear your feedback on what you saw today in terms of what features would be really valuable for you in corporate, and what features you just really liked or didn't like about what you saw today. So please reach out to us. Follow us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Reach out to us there. Absolutely subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's where you can see these videos and more. And let us know what you think. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you back here next week with new updates.